Good. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening, I don't know where you're joining us from. My name is Anolua. My name is Tommy. I'm also known as Anu. I'm the founder of Titanal Consulting, and I'll be taking the webinar today on the internship game plan, what successful grad school students do very differently. You mean that most of you on this call actually are prospective grad school students or already admitted grad school student that will be starting in the fall? And even if you're not starting in the fall and you just want to know all the things that you should do ahead to get yourself prepared for next year, that's still good because no knowledge is wasted or no knowledge is actually lost. Please let me know if you are in a different category. Maybe you're a current grad school student and I another call with you to go through this process in very, a little differently because this is for people who haven't done anything at all and are just planning to get into business school or any other graduate program. Also, any questions at all, please make sure that you type your questions in the chat box. I already introduced myself. I currently work, my day job is me being a senior technical product manager at Microsoft in the security team. And I graduated at Ohio State University in 2019. That's going to be 6 years actually this year. And I already feel so old. That means I got into business school 8 years ago. And I'm the founder of Titanal Consulting. So Titanal Consulting is my 5 to 9 and also my weekend work. So yes, actually always very quite busy. So while we exist, a lot of you do know about Titanal Consulting, but for the very few people that today is their first time joining our webinar, I would like to go through why Titanal Consulting exists. Titanal Consulting it goes beyond just the company. It's a passion of mine. It's something that I started because I didn't want people to go through the challenge that I went through, people to learn a lot from my mistakes and my errors. Nothing delights me so much as people learning from my mistakes and saving them time and reducing the time that they need to take to actually get something done. At the end of the day, experience is a teacher, but it doesn't have to be your own experience. You can learn from the experiences of others. And I'm here sharing my experiences and things that have actually worked well for me to other people, other young professionals and prospective students and current students so they don't make the same mistakes that I have made. So look at Titanal Consulting as a school. When anybody asks me what are we, I always say we're a school or a coaching organization, and we want to help us educational goals, right? We want to tell your stories better, identify opportunities for growth and learning, and how you can connect your past and present to your future. Now, Titanal Consulting is divided into two main service segments. It's graduate school admissions and one is graduate school career. Started Titanal Consulting based off of my experience from a career perspective. I have also seen an increasing need for guidance from a graduate admission standpoint. Not because you can, but a lot of people do make a lot of mistakes along the way, and people really do need accountability partners and somebody to actually put them in the right direction, because a lot of times people don't know what they're doing, right? And not knowing what you're doing is actually really very dangerous because you can be going in the wrong path for so long and it might be much more difficult for you to go back to your starting point and then go through the right path. So look at us as the plug that wants to connect you to the world. I want to make sure that you are ready for your next acceleration opportunity, because there's nothing as bad as seeing an opportunity and not being prepared for it. And that's what I call pain of regret, because you know deep down within you that, oh, you could have gotten this opportunity if you actually prepared in advance, if you actually did things to prepare yourself. And at the end of the day, preparation actually is key. That's what makes you stand out. So enough about us, or some more about us. So I always share this slide just to show our success stories and show where we have presence. We have worked with clients almost 6 years now in May, over 190 offers. Clients have gotten admissions, over 100 plus admissions in the United States, in Canada, and also the United Kingdom and Europe in general. And these are just a few schools that our clients have been able to to and also have gotten job offers from. A lot of these job offers actually have been gotten very, very early in our clients' internship search experience, from as early actually for a lot of the consulting roles as early as June, July, August. A lot of clients have been able to get opportunities. Now, this is not that we are handing over, no, of course not, but these people put in and they were very committed to the process. And that's what we'll be talking a little. So a few things, we offer group and one-on-one MBA coaching. So for class of 2028, to get into school in 2026, to graduate in 2028, enrollment, although coaching doesn't start till June. So if you're interested in getting into the MBA program in next year, and that means you're graduating in 2028, or 2027 is the one-year program, we offer group and one-on-one admission coaching. And if you would like to speak to us more about it, you can send us an email, or you can just put a message in the chat box and we'll follow up with you. And a few successes, last school cycle, 70% of our clients actually did get full rides to top MBA programs, and 100% of the clients that got admitted to the programs got between 50 to 100% scholarships, and 70% of our clients got their internship interviews before the end of the fall semester. Now, the internship game plan. Now, this is where the please can you put yourself on mute? Thank you. Please put yourself on mute. Thank you so much. Awesome. Good. Now, the internship game plan. We already started. We're getting into it because I don't plan to waste your time here. So what do successful internship, what successful graduate students do differently, rather, for their internship search? They're just, like, I would say five main things that they do. And all of these 5 things, we'll talk more about these 5 things. But the first thing they do is they start early as now. I see a lot of current first-year students, that's class of 2026. And if you're reaching out to me in January or February of 2025 to tell me, oh, you don't really understand, or you're just trying to start to look for a role right now, you already missed it. You already missed the mark. Because starting to look for a role in January for opportunities that would start in May of 2025 is really late. So even though a lot of people might not get traction till like December or November, that's of when they start school, the fall semester, that's the year before. Or some people even just got traction this January. It doesn't mean they didn't start their process almost a year before. So you need to start early as now. And I'm sure you're wondering, okay, what am I supposed to be doing now? And I will tell you a few of the things you'll be doing now in our next slide. But you need to start early as now. Very, very important. For people that start late, they don't get anything. And right now, for most of you, I don't know how many of you are going to European countries or you are going to North America, to Canada. But if you're coming to the United States, the climate is much more different. I mean, at least much different from when I was in graduate school in 2017. So right now, there are fewer opportunities for you. And because there are fewer opportunities for you, you need to be able to work really, really hard. So there is nothing like, oh, I can just wait. I'm so busy. Everybody gives me this. I'm just always wondering when I talk to people and they're like, they're so busy. I'm like, I worked at PwC Nigeria. I was taking my icon exams. I was preparing for my GRE. I was applying to school. I was really busy. So at the end of the day, most of you just don't prioritize what's important to you. And sometimes I see prospective people, oh, I'm busy, but oh, what did you do? Oh, I had it yesterday. You're not busy. You're not busy. If you had your friend's wedding yesterday and you went for your friend's wedding, you're not busy. Like, you have a lot of time at hand. If you spend time 4 hours on social media every day, on Instagram, commenting on people's posts, you're not busy. So can you just be realistic and be real to yourself? How busy really? Most people are not busy. They're just faffing most of the time. So it's better for you to reprioritize your time and use it to do something that will be meaningful to actually help. Now, the second thing that they do is they have a job search strategy. Job search strategy that I teach is divided into four. We have application strategy, resume strategy, networking strategy, and now into all of those four things for you to achieve green, 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 right? For some people, it's red, red, red. And if it's red, 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 you can achieve success. Now, an example is if your resume and your application strategy is really bad, right? There are very high chances that you won't even get an interview at all. So doing like a post-mortem or a pre-mortem analysis, please, once you join the call, doing like a post-mortem or a pre-mortem analysis to understand where exactly am I having these challenges. So you've been applying for a while and you haven't gotten any interviews. That means your application strategy is probably really bad, really, really bad, or your resume is really bad. For some people, they have gotten a whole lot of interviews, but they keep failing the interviews. That means their interview strategy is bad. And there's something called self-awareness, right? So if you know that you have gotten a lot of interviews, but you keep failing the interviews, it means your interview strategy is bad. So why are you trying to change your resume? So this is where self-awareness comes in, right? And don't tell me things like, oh, I had such a good experience in the interview. So people tell me things like, vibe with me. And as I was talking, the interviewer was nodding and they were smiling. Like, what do you expect the interviewer to really do? Like the interviewer should frown or the interviewer should turn on their when they're talking to you. No, everybody is going to be polite because that's just the decent thing to do. They just have to be polite. Doesn't mean you're saying the right thing. Like if I'm interviewing you professionally, like no matter what you say, I'm going to nod. And mind you, nodding is just human reflex. So I'm going to nod and I'm going to smile. Doesn't mean you've done a good job. I still give you 0. That's it. So if you think that, oh, the interview was so good, smiling, oh, I'm so sorry. No, it wasn't good. And if you can see the results from your interviews have been fail, 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 that means your interview wasn't good. That means you were bombing everything. A lot of people believe that because they were able to get into business school, doing interviews by themselves without practicing means that they'll be able to get into jobs just like that. No, your admissions interview process is very different from your career interviews, and the competencies that are being tested are so different. So you have to prepare for those really differently. So have a good job search strategy. And if you want to learn more about the job search strategy, if you're developing your job search strategy, those are the things that we'll be going through in the Tighten Our Head Start program that I spoke about in our last webinar, and I'll be talking a little bit about. Then the third thing is they do not give up. They don't give up. Now, failure is really very normal. Like, failure is part of life. Failure helps you reflect. Failure helps you with self-awareness. And if you're the kind of person that believes that you must get everything at the first trial, or you're the kind of person that believes that because you fail, it's something, it's personal to you, you will not really succeed in the MBA program and even in your post-MBA career. So failure is very normal. Giving up is you just throwing everything in and saying, okay, I'm not interested, but you will fail a lot. So how exactly do you make sure that you don't give up when you fail? Now, you are going to apply to a lot of roles. You're going to get a lot of rejections. That's fine, right? You don't need to get 100 offers. Roles. You don't need that. You just need one offer, right? So you're not giving up. So people that are successful, they don't give up. A lot of people that have not been successful, I had this interview and then I just gave up. And you don't apply again. How would you get more interviews? It doesn't make sense. And then there's something else that I actually did not put here is people that are successful don't put all of the. So I talk to a lot of prospective students and people come to me and tell me things like, oh, I want to do banking, or I've always wanted to do banking. What do you mean you've always, like, when did you have that dream? When did you wake up and have that dream? No, you've not always wanted to do it. You are just drinking a lot of the Kool-Aid that is being fed to you by the schools and current students, right? People that are successful don't put all their eggs in one basket. While it's important for you to have goals and dreams and aspirations, right? It's also very important for you to be very realistic, right? So I always teach like, oh, a focus strategy, broad strategy. And you learn more about that in the Hester program. If you're focused on something, yes, it's good. We have some time for us to say, oh, I want to do banking. I want to do consulting. I'm really focused on these things. We have that. And then we would also open ourselves to other opportunities because you don't know what you don't know and you can't hate what you haven't experienced. I have a background in accounting and finance, and my first role out of the MBA program was in marketing. My next role was in technical product management. I literally cannot even trace back. Like if you ask me, oh, if you debit, what do I credit? I'll just be looking at you because I don't know anymore because that part of my life has gone. And it's not because I critically sought this out. I was very intentional about learning and growing based off of this situation that I find myself in at the time. So I was very, very open-minded. And people that are always successful are very, very open-minded. So as you get into business school, I want you to be open-minded. If you come with it's only this thing that I want to do, you'll be disappointed and you'll be very, very heartbroken. Because there are a lot of people that have refused to be open-minded and they followed only one career path, saying, oh, I want to do consulting. And then when the consulting came out, they didn't get an interview. And for some of them, they got interviews, but they didn't get any offers. Now, they didn't apply to any other type of role. So they're not going to get any internship. They start struggle a lot for full time. You don't want to be in that bucket. So you need to make sure that you are very realistic with yourself and you don't put all your eggs in. You need to be very, very open-minded. That's the reality of things. In fact, not being open-minded speaks to you not even being very smart, right? Is there a reason I did good? Like I said, I'm open-minded. I studied in finance, so I was open-minded to any role and every opportunity. And I started in marketing because that's the opportunity that I got at the time. And that was the best of the opportunity that I got at the time. Marketing, I sought
Hey
out more
Anu,
opportunities,
Anu,
right?
this is Hema here. I'm sorry to barge
Um,
in between, but your voice is not clear. Your voice is breaking in between, and we could hear echoes of your voice.
is that you, Caroline? Is that correct?
No, my name is Hemalata,
I know,
and
I know, I know. I'm asking Caroline. Caroline, can you hear me or is my voice breaking?
Hello, Tommy. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, so Hema, I think it's from you.
sure, sure. I'll rectify it. No
Yeah.
issues. Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yes,
All
Anu.
right.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'll put
Yeah,
myself
yeah,
on
yeah.
mute.
All right, perfect. Yeah, so I would say there are opportunities available. So I don't want you to make yourself feel like, oh, I have to do just this one thing. There is not just this one thing. There's not, oh, I have this. There is no just this one thing. There are several things you can do. There are several things that can make you fulfilled. You just have to try it out. And the best way to try that is open yourself to more opportunities. And it doesn't hurt to apply to different opportunities the offers. Then you can now decide, no, I don't want this or I want this. Somebody without an offer doesn't have an option. And that is where a lot of international students particularly miss it, right? For a lot of domestic students, I always advise them to still apply to several opportunities, right? But domestic students have more options because there are more companies that would hire them compared to international students. But you as an international student, you're saying, I don't feel like doing it. Like, I don't understand. What feelings do you have exactly? Except, like, are you going back to your home country immediately? Or how are you planning to pay back your student loans? So, what exactly are your feelings about? Apply to the roles. When you get the offers, then you start discussing your feelings. But you come into me and say, "Oh, I have the, I don't care." What? Keep your feelings to yourself. Apply for all of the roles. Do all of the interviews. When you get offers, then you now start talking about feelings, right? So that key part, people that are successful, they open themselves up to a lot of opportunities. And then when they get the opportunities, then they pick from those opportunities, not before they get the opportunity. Usual for you to pick before you apply, saying, oh, I don't want to do this. Who told you they're even going to hire you in the first place? So what do you mean you don't want to do it? Now, they prioritize themselves, their time and let go of distractions. So prioritizing their time, letting go of distraction. I already told you about that one. Social media, TV outings. And when you were in school, they spend more time in the libraries, right? Like I told you the other depression is a thing, especially if you're going to places that are very, very, very cold and you're coming from a very warm climate. If you're an international student, even for domestic students, if your business school is very far away from your home and it's in a different city from what you've actually called home for the last how many decades of your life or years of your life, there are chances that you would actually feel alone, you feel withdrawn. So it's very important that you actually take time to stay outside, right? And I know this sounds very, very, what does she mean? Yeah, don't spend time in your house. What's happening in your house? What's happening there? Who do you have in there? So spend time in the library, right? Spend time outside. You're more productive when you do that, right? And then they follow the process. This last one is a very interesting part, following the process. A lot of people do not. Now, for you to be successful, you have to put in the work. I talk to a lot of prospective students, and a lot of people come, they have service sessions with man. The first thing I see and I can feel is when I hear your profile, you give me your test score. Your test score is very, very ridiculous. When I mean ridiculous, not ridiculously bad, ridiculously high, that I know that you that I'm talking to did not get that score. You're already even treading on very, 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 very bad waters. And if you don't get found out now, you will get found out in school, or you get found out after you graduate from school, and then you are building on, I would say, sandy soil. And I'm not even going to talk because that's not what I'm talking about it today, but a lot of MBA candidates have been sent out of school for bad test scores, right? Or for, I would say, fraudulent test scores. So that already gives me indication of this person is not even interested in putting in the work because they don't like the process. Or when I talk to students and they tell me, oh, I'm so tired, I can't take a test score. What are you doing with your time? You're a young person. What exactly is your time? If you cannot put in the work, you cannot get results without putting in the work. Now, all of these processes and everything that you have done to get here is character building and is self-building, right? So for people that are successful, they don't look for the easy way out, or they don't wait for somebody to write something for them or do something for them. Everything they do now builds character. People that actually follow the due process, they follow the process, right? They fail, they pick themselves back up. They are very self-reflective. They are the ones that have actually been more successful than people that don't. And for what I have seen from most people that have been successful, they're people that put in the work. So if you're not going to put in the work now to even get admitted to school, there's no way you're going to be successful in the business school. Like, it's not even possible. So you need to follow the proper process. You cannot jump. You cannot jump any step, right? So now let's go into what to do now while you wait. So that's the first part, because I said, I think they start early. And I'm sure some of you are wondering, I already got admitted to school, or I'm waiting for my decision. That's maybe the decision that comes out in maybe end of February, or in thinking about what can I do now while I'm waiting. There's so many things that you can do while you're waiting, and I'll take you through a few of them. If you have any questions about it, just let me know, right? The last time we spoke, I think we spoke about pre-MBA opportunities. I told you what pre-MBA opportunities are. Now, I feel a few people have been confused because people have asked me, oh, how can I get this pre-MBA opportunity as an international student? If I'm an international student, how can I get to work before I start school? No, that's not what it is. The reason why there are pre-MBA opportunities for the most part is because you land the opportunities before you get into the program. Does not mean the internship is before you get into the program. All of your internships as first years are going to happen in 2026 between May and August. Now, you getting the opportunity now means that you're getting the opportunity a year before you are starting the opportunity, right? And some of the pre-MBA opportunities are not just even internships. Some of them are fellowships. Some of them are like cohorts of people where they guide you towards getting prepared for either consulting or banking. So look at it as that you get before you get into the program. Now, there are very, very few pre-MBA opportunities where they're actually 2-week, 3-week internships. before you start, those are only for domestic students, and they are very few. They are only for domestic students. The pre-MBA opportunities that I spoke about majorly, or that I'm speaking about majorly, are preparing you in advance for your internship for next year, or preparing you for getting into the fellowship programs, right? And a lot of these opportunities open up in like March, April, May. You get interviews. If you get offers, like I've said, we had a few people that have gotten offers in June, July. They got offers in June, July to resume the May of the next year. So they are not starting now. So please do not confuse, right? You are not starting now. It's pre-MBA because you get the opportunities before you get into the MBA program. Doesn't mean you actually are acting on the opportunity or the offer actually starts now. And some of them are just fellowships that prepare you way in advance. And some of these pre-MBA opportunities, yes, you can get into the fellowships. Your interviews might not even be till September or October, right? But it's a way to prepare you before getting into the program. So see it that way. Now, if you requested for the sheet, we'll be giving you access today. But please note that the sheet will be updated weekly. So every week you need to go back and check the link to see updated opportunities. Currently, we have just Toigo and just very few other opportunities open. I think 1 or 2. Toigo closes in March. So if you're interested in finance, it would be great for you to also apply to the Toigo Fellowship Program. It's been really, really good, right? So that's like the summary on the pre-MBA opportunity, just in case you're having clarity gaps with what it is. Now, what you can do now that you actually are waiting, what you can do is you can improve your resume. You can improve your LinkedIn profile. And a lot of these things are actually covered in the 13-hour Head Start program. But I mean, maybe you don't want guidance. Maybe you want to do it by yourself. But if you're doing it by yourself, do you know what you're doing? And please don't be delusional. I use this resume to get into business school, so I can use it to get a job. Not really. The things that are being looked at on your resume getting into business school are very, very different from the things that are being looked at to get a landed opportunity and land a job. Remember, this is a very competitive landscape, so you need to be very prepared. The third thing you can do is you need to connect with your first and second years in your school. I see a lot of people, they haven't connected with anybody. Yes, you got into business school, but you're not talking to your first year, you're not talking to your second years. And I know that it could be quite overwhelming. And yes, some of you have, oh, I have requested to connect with this person, or this person is not responding to me. Is it only one person? Is your school made up of 5 people? No, I know we have very small cohorts of students that are like 40 or 50. That's 40 or 50 people in 1 year. So that's at least 80 people in your entire business school. That's the smallest schools, right? That have 40 people in their classroom. So you have 80 people to connect with. How many of those 80 people have you connected with, right? How many of them have you connected with? So this is what you should be doing now. Connecting with them, you need to be asking them about their academic experiences, right? Oh, what kind of cases in class, right? Different type of cases. Maybe they can talk about, oh, they had this Walmart case, they had this Lululemon case. Oh, is there somewhere you can even just read online about some of those cases? Or can they just take you through briefly, or what the professors are looking out for when we're discussing cases, just to get yourself updated, right? About, oh, what's going to be happening here. You can ask them, oh, what has really helped them be successful? What has been the most challenging course for them, right? Or the most class for them, and then you go and start preparing, because some of them, the challenging classes for them might not be for you. Challenging classes depending on their background. You need to ask them about, oh, were they, did they participate in case competitions? If they participated, or how exactly can you be prepared for those? Are those competitions available for every, just a type of people? Is it particular demographic? You need to start asking those questions. You need to prepare. So you need to mentally know and be aware, right? For some of you, don't even have any experience. You're not asking any questions. And if you're not asking any questions, how are you going to be prepared? Now, also, you need to be asking them about like their internship and full-time success and failure stories. Now, for this one, you need to be careful because, yeah, a lot of students, I always say a lot of students, some of them are quite, my career services didn't help me, yada, yada. Most of the people that talk like that, they did not help themselves. I have spoken to a lot of students and I asked them, oh, have you been to career services this year? No. How many mock interviews have you had with career services? One. You've had one mock interview since you started school ending of July. And exactly what success are you thinking about having? I don't know. It just looks like you don't plan to be successful, right? So when people tell you things like, oh, career services is this and that, you can probe for that to say, oh, do you go visit them every time? What's the structure? So you are able to tell somebody who is bitter from somebody who is actually self-reflective, right? And then you can learn about, oh, how did they achieve success for their internship set? What did they do differently? What is that thing that they did differently? And for people that have failed, what did they do differently, right? And you are able to now start and say, okay, all of these things that made them fail, I don't want to do any of these things because I am going to be successful. And then you start mapping out your plan. And then what you can do while you wait is register to join the Tighten Our Head Start program. I'll be talking about that in about maybe 10 minutes before we close. But those are the things that you can do actually to be successful. But before I go into discussing the Tighten Our Head Start program, I will take you through two things, right? Because in your internship strategy building, your job search strategy building, that will be covered in the Head Start program. We have application, resume, we have interviewing, and we have networking. But today I will just take you through your resume. I'm not going through the entire resume strategy, no. I'm just going through a highlight. And then I will take you through what you can do for LinkedIn. At least right now, you can optimize your LinkedIn profile. Right. Now, for your resume strategy, your resume needs to be one page. Right. And I always say one page, except you have 10 years of work experience. However, if you're in the MBA program, even if you have 10 years of work experience, your classmates, average years of work experience they have is between 3 to 7. That's the range, right? That's the range, right? The average is 5. And the recruiters are actually looking at all of you in total. So even if you have 10 years of work experience, your resume should still be one page, irrespective. It should be one page. And a lot of people tell me things like, oh, I have so much. You don't have so much to put on your resume, because when I review the resume, I can easily take out a lot of the jargon that is there. So you don't have so much to put in your resume. Your resume should be one page. Now, the caveat is, if you're sending your resume for review, right? Maybe you're sending this career services, you're working with Titanari, you're sending it for review. It doesn't have to be one page when you're sending it for review to us, because I mean, we still have to review it, we have to give you feedback, right? So it doesn't matter. But resume that you're going to be sending out to maybe recruiters or hiring managers, or your resume you'll be using to apply, has to be one page. There is no one page. Now, for a lot of you, your schools have their own resume format. And for a lot of you, once you pay your acceptance fee to your school, you get access to your school career, like your career portal. I would always say that go and check the resources that are available there. Now, following your school resume format is good. I always say for most schools, I've seen their resume format and it's pretty good. The reasons why the schools have the resume format is for a lot of companies that come to recruit in school, they want everything to be standardized, blah, blah, blah. The format in itself is not a problem for me. The content itself is my own issue, right? So following the school format's fine if that's what you want to do, but the content has to be very, very good. Now, your bullet points should highlight achievements. They must highlight achievements and not job description. I don't want to know what you are supposed to do. I want to know what you actually did, right? And your results must be quantifiable and measurable. Very important. So I need to see numbers on your result. And don't make numbers up. A lot of people make numbers up. I see things like, oh, I worked on improving the revenue for the bank, and my project grew the bank revenue by 90%. Only you in a tier 1 banking institution grew revenue by 95%. What exactly are you, the CEO of the company? I'm just going to throw the resume out as a recruiter, because that's a lie. That's just a blatant lie. So why would you put that on your resume? So whatever you are putting has to be verifiable and it has to make sense. Even you saying you grew the bank's income only you by 5%, I would go back to that your bank, let me see what their income is, and do 5% of it. And then we'll go back to your product and see how much your product is going to influence 5% of that. If they ask you that question during an interview, can you defend it? So don't put things that are not defendable in your resume. I see a lot of this and then I just laugh. I'm like, do you people actually like think through it? Or you just maybe you just want to make me laugh. You're like, oh, I want to make Anu laugh today, just a comedy show. Please don't do stuff like that because recruiters are going to throw your resume out. They can see through all of those nonsense. So you don't want to have that on your resume. Now, your bullet points have to follow the Titanial resume framework. I'm not going to be teaching here. And those are the things that we would be talking about in the HESTA program. So sign up for the HESTA program and then you get all of that. Now, you can use any font type. Me personally, I love Times New Roman. That's a personal choice. And a lot of times when I review people's resume, I turn it to Times New Roman. You don't have to use Times New Roman. That's my own personal. That's the style I like, right? And then I always use the font size 10 to 11. Anything bigger than 11 is too big. If it's smaller than 9, 10 is too small. So I always use like 10-ish, 10.5, right? Now the format of your resume, or I would say your header, you should have a header. Your header should have your name, you should have your email address or your telephone number, personalized LinkedIn link. Your LinkedIn link should be personalized. And I can show you how to do that today, but it should be personalized. Your LinkedIn link should be personalized. Now, you don't need to put like your address, put 5.
You're on mute.
Now, for most of you, right? I think most of you are in, probably you're still back home. That's if you're an international student, right? If you're a domestic student, irrespective, I think it's okay for you to just put, oh, maybe you're going to a school in Baltimore, for example, just put Baltimore, Maryland, or something like that. Just put that. It's okay, right? Because that's the address that you would be when you have to actually take on the opportunity, right? Your phone number, you don't have to put your phone number there if you don't have a US phone number yet. It's okay. Your email address, and your email address has to be a good email address. Now, for some of us, we have used email addresses, all sorts of email addresses when we're doing applications and everything. Please, I would always advise that I don't want a case where you get an interview and then somebody comes to tell me that, oh, I know I actually got an interview. I have, like, people have done that. Like, they reach out to me, say, oh, I don't know what you can do. I got this Microsoft interview. I saw it in my spam. It's been 2 weeks. Like Microsoft HR. What am I going to do about that? You missed it. You missed it. There's nothing that can happen. I have no say, right? Who am I in the scheme of things? So if you are not serious enough to actually use a proper email address that you can check every day and every 1 hour to see if you have interview invite and check your spam, that's on you. You are 18 plus years old. You need to be able to take responsibility for that. So your email address, I always advise people, you can either use the email address that your school is going to give you, or you create a new email address and you know that like this is just going to be for job applications only. For a lot of the people that go through my admissions class, I tell them that you can use the same email address. You start using it from an admissions perspective, and then you use it all through for your careers. At least you are not having Uber and something else getting into that email, and then you say, oh, I didn't see it or something like that. I mean, if you didn't see, that's on you, right? So you need to make sure that all of those things are included in your header. Now, your recommended sections for most of your schools is education, experience, additional information in that format. Summary is very optional. Summary is very optional. And when you are doing your education, you start with your most recent chronological order. So your most recent education has your MBA education. So whatever you're submitting now should have your MBA name, your MBA, like this is the MBA program that I'm going to be in. You can put expected graduation May 2027 for most people, which is May 2027 or June 2027 at the latest. Your undergraduate education, if you have a master's, you can include your master's. If your master's is a bit relevant to what you're going to be doing. For some people, if it is not very relevant, I used to say you can take it out if it's not very relevant. But if it's relevant, you can include it. And then your experience, also in a chronological manner, from your most recent experience. Your most recent experience. And then you go to your lowest experience. And then I can teach you all of that in the Head Start program. That's how it is. Now, when you're finalizing your resume, it should be saved in PDF before sending out to recruiters. Do not leave comments in your resume. I think that's very shoddy work. You are an MBA candidate. I should not see comments in your resume. Once you address people's comments, delete the comment, save as PDF. Never send something to somebody in Word. Now, when I mean never send something to somebody, I'm not talking about someone like me or your career services that we're going to review it. Somebody like a recruiter, somebody that has said, oh, send me your resume. I want to see what it looks like. Or send me your resume. I want to pass it along. It should be in PDF. You must PDF it. And when you PDF it, you need to make sure that it's still within that 1-page limit. Okay? And I know that Tolulokwe, you had your hand raised. Please put your questions in the chat box. It's not yet time for us to answer questions. So that's why I'm not able to. Just put your questions in the chat box. Now, for LinkedIn, right? This is just how to optimize. I might go through some of it with you. I'll go through a little bit of it with you. Now, you need to have like a good headline or summary, and I'll take you through my minutes. Have a good headline or summary, just talks about a lot of them, like MBA candidate. You need to include MBA candidate there. For some of you, for the domestic students, you don't have issues, can include MBA candidate. But even for some domestic students, they're like, this is still February. I don't start school till like August. I don't want my boss to know. I don't want family to know. I don't know to be fair. Domestic students, I get it, but for like the international student, I don't know who's chasing you people back home. I have no idea. I don't know why you can't put MBA candidate on your LinkedIn profile, because people are like, oh no, my family members are checking me out on LinkedIn. Why are they checking you out on LinkedIn? I don't know. You guys need to sort those things out. So you need to make a very good first impression. Very, very good. Right. Now you can highlight your current job. You can highlight the kind of role that you're seeking. And I'm going to show you my profile so you can take a look at it. Then you should have a summary, right? Your summary should be very short. It should be brief, be compelling, right? It should be convincing enough that, oh, this is actually very interesting, right? Is this all for 2025 fall intake students as well? Like, what do you mean? It's for everybody. Everybody, Hema, should improve. We have like a strong headline and summary on their LinkedIn profile, including you for 2025 intake. Now you need to use good keywords in your profile, which is like your experience section, which I will show you, needs to have the right keywords. And I always say the way your resume bullet points are on your resume, you should include same in your LinkedIn profile. Now, my LinkedIn profile is not perfect. Maybe I should improve it too. It's not perfect, but I would show you. Then you need to highlight your accomplishments, just like you have on your resume. Customizing your URL is very, very important. It makes it easy for people to find you. It also makes it easy for you to share a variation of your LinkedIn profile. So a lot of people have LinkedIn profiles of XY33. Like, what's that? Customize your URL. Now you need to keep your profile up to date. For some of you, your universities have profiles on LinkedIn. That's your undergraduate schools, but you don't have it with the right logo. Like, all of those things are basic things that you need to do on your LinkedIn profile, right? Because once I get an invite from somebody, I check their profile. And when it comes to invite, one thing you should never, ever do is send somebody an invite without adding a note. I do not accept people who do not add notes to their invite under any circumstance. It just proves to me that you are very unserious. You don't know what you're doing. You haven't really thought through your strategy very well. And you're not self-reflective enough to know that if I'm doing things this way and they're not working for me, I need to change it out. Imagine reaching out to somebody, you don't put a note. Like, why would I accept? Is this Facebook? Even on Facebook, I'm not going to even accept you. Are you a family member? The only people that I would accept without a note are people that I actually know. Like, I know you, you are my friend. I've had conversations with you. right? And we actually do have a relationship. I'm like, oh, this person, I know this person, or I know this person from work, this person knows me, but I don't know you from anywhere. Webinar, and you just connect. Why are you connecting with me? I'm not even going to reject, deny your apply. I will not even accept. I won't do anything. So if that's what you have done to a lot of people, go and withdraw those things that you have done. Go and withdraw it, and then add with a note. Very important to add with a note. If you're not adding it with a note, then you're not being serious, in my own opinion. So I'll take you through something now so you guys can see, and you'll be able to see the profile. I'll take you through pretty quickly for like a minute. So this is my LinkedIn profile. I go here to view profile. So this is me. First of all, something that you guys need to do differently is your photo has to be professional. Like some people have photos with them and they're like, is it two of you that own the LinkedIn profile? Is it a joint profile? Like, are you joined at the hip? Why? I don't really understand. That is just very ridiculous. Let it just be only you. And then don't take pictures like this. Like, what is this? Like think about it. Will you hire yourself like this? No, go and take a professional headshot. And one good thing is for most of you coming to business school, you would actually have professional headshots given to you. And I think in August or September. But I think that there is no harm, right, in also getting one done before August, because August is a long time. So the first thing you need to do is, I would say, your public profile or URL. I spoke about your URL. So you can edit your URL here. You can see my personalized URL is just Tomilola A. Edit it, make it as short as possible, not the 57891 number thing. Make your profile as short as possible. Then if I get here, you can see I'm just product management at Microsoft. I have founder, career storyteller. I have a couple of things. You don't have to have this much, right? But as an MBA candidate, you start with MBA candidate art. You can talk about your school, and then maybe you were into like finance and strategy. And the name of your school, now it's Microsoft that comes first, but the name of Ohio State was first before Microsoft, before I think PwC when I was in business school. So that's how it was. Now, my about section is the summary section. My about section hasn't been updated, maybe because I'm not looking for a job. So I haven't updated this in a long time. So I'm no longer a global finance and strategy professional. I'm not any of those things anymore. Maybe strategy, but not global finance. But you can see it's really very short, right? So you need to make it very short, right? Very, very straight to the point that talks about what you actually really do and who you really are. Your second year, but you don't have to say, oh, I am focusing on operations. You have to make it look like you are open to business opportunities, and MBA opportunities are all type of opportunities. So make sure that it opens you up to that. And then if you do any other thing, like I said, I'm a coach to young business professionals. So if you do any other thing fun, you can include it in your about section. Now here, this shows like my experience at Microsoft so far. And I have my my bullet points here. Now, I didn't include any bullet points in these two things. I do have bullet points there, but I want you to include bullet points there. Everywhere should have bullet points, not empty like mine. Now, here you have like things like customer experience, product road mapping. These are keywords. So once you update your LinkedIn profile, you can include as many keywords as possible, keywords that align with your role. What this does is, I think when recruiters or other people check, people that have the they can check with those kind of like keywords, stand out. So you include that. For everywhere that I have worked, it has a logo. Now, for some of you, you have worked in organizations that don't have logos, that's fine. There's nothing you can do about it. But if you did work in an organization that has a logo and you don't have a logo, that means you didn't spell it well. Now, your education should have your universities. It should be here. Now, budgeting is not a key skill here, but like, just let's leave it. I haven't updated it. Then you put all of your licenses and your certification. This is where I have my ICANN certification. All of my web certifications are here. Things I do for volunteering. You can include as many skills as you want here. Then your recommendations that have been received that you have given, the publications that I have, the honors that I have, my organizations, and my interests. Now, for your interests, you can follow organizations that you are interested in, people that you are interested in. You need to go through a lot of this in the Head Start program. Now, this is it. Now, I see a lot of people try to connect with me. Don't connect with me without adding a note. If you don't add a note, I am not going to accept your connection request under any circumstance, right? And that is the same thing that I expect other professionals to do, because you're a professional MBA. You need to add a note like, oh, hi, I met you here. Oh, hi, I just saw your profile. And I'm a first year MBA, I'm a second year MBA. I'm interested in learning more about how you were able to transition from public accounting to marketing, as I intend to do the same thing. Like, that is a very short note that gives context into why you are connecting with me, right? Or why you're connecting with somebody else. And that's what you should do as a professional, right? Add a note always. Okay, so we're done with that. Now, engaging with your network will help increase your visibility. I'm not saying be cheesy and comment on everything everybody writes. I hardly do that, right? But like, commenting really nice things. If you have any questions, please put it in the chat box. Connecting with people, commenting on posts, joining relevant groups can actually also be really good. Please, you need to make sure that whatever you are sharing on LinkedIn is social media, is something that in 10 years, it would, like, if that comes out, you will be proud of it. This is not a time for you to take political stands, and no, please, let it be very professional. Let it be very, very, very professional. I know a lot of people put things like, oh, it's my wife's birthday today, it's my birthday. I'm like, why? But I mean, that's on you, right? I don't understand why, right? Make sure it's professional. Now, implementing these tips and many other tips, because I'm not going to go deep into it, because like I told you that the Head Start program is a 15-hour program over six weeks. So it's obviously not something that we're going to go through in 50 minutes. But I hope I've been able to give you like some insights that you can get started with, right? LinkedIn is a very powerful tool. You need to make sure that you know how to make use of it. Now, our Head Start program is a 6-week intensive career bootcamp. It's supposed to help incoming MBA candidates and other incoming business school graduate candidates also to get the most out of their career portion. The Head Start program for this year starts in March. That's next month, actually, in about 6 weeks. And it teaches all of the critical strategies required for you to be successful. Now, this is not going to be a webinar. This is a hands-on class. So for the Head Start program, very, very hands-on. So you are not taking the Head Start program on your phone. That, like, you can't be serious. Like, you can't be joking with me. On your laptop, because you have assignments every 30 minutes. I'm giving you classwork. It's very, very intense. And like I said, people that have been successful are only people that can follow due process. So if you want to be successful and you can actually follow the due process, making sure that you do all of the things necessary for you to succeed, you would excel. And yes, I've worked with some students that I would just say they chose not to excel because there's nothing I can do about that. They don't follow due process, very, very easily discouraged. They don't do what they're supposed to do, and they expect results. There is no miracle in this world that can make that happen for you if you don't put in the work you're supposed to put in. So you need to make sure that you put in the work, right? And you hit the ground running. So the Head Start covers a couple of these things. It covers all of your job search strategies across the 4 segments. Behavioral interview is a huge part of of the Head Start program, because irrespective of what you're doing or what your focus is, you will be getting at least 70% behavioral interview questions. And for a lot of people, telling their stories is their weakness. So we're going to be doing a whole lot of behavioral interview coaching. And then you get access to learning technical interviews, consulting interview cases, preparing for diversity conferences. You would actually do have a case competition and a mini networking event. So that's also really very, 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 like, it's going to be very interesting. So for your add-ons, this is a wrong standard cost. So I don't know why this standard cost is still here, but it's a very, very wrong standard cost. That is not the cost of the Head Start program. But you have one resume finalized by a consultant, one cover letter finalized by a consultant, and 1 hour of mock interview with a consultant, right? So this is the registration link for the Head Start Bootcamp. The registration link will be put in the chat box, and then please register if you're interested. So now we'll go into Q&A. We have just a few minutes. Please, I will not be able to take like live Q&A, so please put all of your questions in the chat box. So I cannot take any questions. Like I cannot take any questions. Yeah. Okay, so is there a reason I didn't go straight to product manager? I think I already answered that. Then so if you're interested in pre-MBA opportunities, you can use this link here. I think the link has been posted in the chat. And then also, if you're interested in, maybe you want to take a student loan, you want Atenara Consulting to help support you, have questions about your Empower student loan, and you want us to help you with the Empower, having conversations with the Empower team, please use our Empower Atenara partnership link. The link would also be included in the chat box, right? And if you also want a free 15-minute session with Atenara Consulting, it will also be included in the chat box. Well, you can copy the link from here if you want. So here, let me see the questions. Pursuing an MBA from a lower rank school affect your chances of landing? No, it does not. And I know that's a myth that people talk about. It does not affect your chances. There are a lot of people in higher ranked schools that don't have internship and they don't have full-time job offers because they didn't do any of these things. Companies are looking for people that are serious, people that actually will put in the work. And when you get into your internship, you would see that there are people from all types of schools that you've never even heard before, right? So it's up to you to do your homework. While there are some opportunities that are much difficult to get, so for example, you want to get into private equity, right? Yes, it might be very hard for you to get into private equity from a lower ranked school, but it's also hard to get into private equity from a higher ranked school because private equity, VCs, they're not hiring like tech companies or consulting companies or general companies. They're hiring just a few people. A lot of the people that work in those sectors are not dying, they are not leaving the organization. So you cannot, like, how do you get in? Like, there is really no attrition, right? So it's hard. So yes, those are harder. But if you're thinking about getting into tech, consulting, even some investment banks, I would say that there are things that you can do to improve your chances despite being in a lower ranked school. And in fact, a lot of the students that I've seen excel in the last couple of years have been from much lower ranked schools. You will be surprised. Schools that I've never even heard their names before I spoke to those students. So it's up to you to take your success in your own hands, not up to your school, really. The link to the 2025, yes, is for fall, it's for all of the fall intake student. Will the Head Start program be held again? Right now, we plan to hold only one Head Start program for this year for the general cohort. We are working with partner schools to have Head Start program for their own schools, right? But if you're not a member of the partner school, it's just going to be one Head Start program for March. However, you can actually have access to the pre-recorded Head Start program that would come with like, it will come as a different package. So you can have access to that. So I know you've always talked about the US is a go big or go home situation. Those already in the not so big schools as international students, what do we do differently? Everything you do, I've said here is what you should do differently as an international student, irrespective of your school, right? As soon as recruiters know that you're on F1 visa, that's the end. That's a lie. That is actually a bloody lie because I have clients that are international students that have gotten offers. Yeah, I have somebody who just got 3 offers and she's an international student at once. So no, it's not the end. These people that are saying once they know you're an F1 visa, and they don't have any application strategy. They're just applying to random companies. They don't have any networking strategy. Their resume is not well done, and they're not interviewing correctly, and they're spreading wrong information. So please don't let that deter you at all, please. Right? Are there past students you recommend we reach out to learn more? There are past Titanal students. A lot of Titanal students are everywhere. I'm not going to put people's out here because that is going to be infringement of like privacy. Have you heard about privacy laws? You don't just put people's names and just say, oh, go connect with this person on a public platform. But yeah, they are past students. If there's anything specific you want to learn, let me know, send me the question. And if there's any past student that I think will be great for you to speak to, especially maybe the past student is in your school or goes to your current school, I can facilitate a connection, but I'm not just going to put their names here. You can't do that, actually. From a security standpoint, you can do that. So for those starting the MBA, when would you say they can start looking for internships? Augusta, did you listen to anything that I said today? At all? Now, your work starts now. But I said a lot of the pre-MBA opportunities are not open yet. They are not open yet. We have Toyigo, we have a few. And that's why I said if you request for the pre-MBA opportunities sheet, you will get a link today. That will be refreshed every week. You have to go yourself to the link every week to check. We're not going to send you a reminder because it's up to you. You are 18 plus years old, so you should take responsibility for your actions. So you go there, you check it every week, you refresh it every week, right? And then you see updated opportunities. Now, that's for pre-MBA. For the internship opportunities themselves, a lot of the internship opportunities for you entering the program in the fall of 2025 actually start, a lot of them, they start getting posted around June. For the ones that are not like pre-MBA, right? You start getting them around the June time frame, right? Some of them can be earlier. Now, some of out to me saying that, oh, I think I have, I've been searching for internship positions. Some of the internships you're seeing right now are for the class of 2026 that are currently in first year. And the way you would know is when you go to the requirement section, you would see, oh, graduating between December 2025 and May 2026. That's not you, right? And a lot of your MBA internships would have 2026 written there. So you would know it is for your class, right? So no, the internship positions for your class are not yet posted. Some pre-MBA opportunities and fellowship, very few already open, a lot more, especially for consulting and banking and other fellowships like Forte, like Point and Quant, Networking Festival, Jumpstart, all of those will start getting open very soon, right? But the internship positions that are separate, because some of the fellowships and pre-MBAs come with internships, some don't, but separate internships, like maybe internship in just like a random company or something, just a normal company, a lot of them get posted in June. Right. So you can reach us on this platform. Send me an email, anwa@tatinarconsulting.com. This is our WhatsApp number if you want to send us a WhatsApp message. And you please follow us on LinkedIn. It's Tatinar Consulting on LinkedIn. Follow us on Instagram. And it was nice having conversation with you. If we don't have any other questions, I will be on here for the next 1 to 2 minutes. You can type your questions in the chat box. I'm not taking live questions today. So please type your questions in the chat box if you have any more questions. But if you do not, thank you so much for your time this Sunday. It was really nice chatting with you all. I hope to see you, most of you, or all of you, if possible, in the Head Start program. It was nice chatting. I hope I was able to encourage you and not discourage you. I know it's really intense. So I hope I didn't scare you so much, but I don't like to lie to people. So I cannot lie to you. I can't tell you what is not correct or what is not possible. I cannot. I can only tell you the truth, right? So I hope to see you all successful, and congratulations, class of 2027. Thank you so much.
Anu, this is Hema here. My question is a bit long.
Hema,
So is it
Hema,
okay
please.
if
Hema, please, can you put your question in the chat box? That's what I said. We're not taking live Q&A. because we don't have the time. Please, everybody put their question in the chat box. Thank you. So Olaolu, just to be clear, finance students should apply to TOEIGO. No, when did I say they should apply to TOEIGO rather than the hairstyle? Did I say that? TOEIGO is one of the pre-MBA opportunities and fellowships available to you for you to apply to. That's very different. General hairstyle different. So the way you are going to get TOEIGO, you're going to get TOEIGO, you're going to get Forte fellowships. There are so many fellowships, other applications. Bain, they are just pre-MBA fellowships and opportunities available. I didn't say you should apply to that rather than the Head Start program. I said if you're interested in finance, apply to TOEIGO, and then the Head Start program is a different program. When did I say that? When did I say you should do that rather? I didn't say that. I didn't want my question to get the answer. Is there a reason you didn't go straight to product management? The reason I didn't go straight to product management was because I kept my options open, like I said. Kept my options open. I didn't know anything about product management. My option was I wanted to get into a good organization that would provide me an opportunity to grow. And my first role, because that's the opportunity that I got at Microsoft. I got other opportunities in other companies, but I decided to choose Microsoft. And while working at Microsoft in marketing, my marketing role was technical, and I saw opportunities to improve myself. And then I said, oh, product management actually provided me that opportunity at the time. The next time, that's for my next role after marketing, and I took it. So there was no, I didn't have any, oh, this is what I want to do from the scratch. No, product management wasn't what I wanted to do from the start. I wanted to do anything that would provide me an opportunity to learn and grow. That's my mantra, learning and growing. I'm not head stuck on it has to be a particular path. There's several success in this life. To be open to all positions, does it mean we have to modify our resumes? No, you don't have to modify your resume. No. I will teach that in the head. You don't have to modify your resume at all. No. Because as an MBA candidate, you are an MBA candidate, which means that you have experience across different facets of business and you are taught in different ways, right? So you are going to learn strategy, marketing, operations, all of those things you will learn in the business school. So for most of you, what I teach in the Head Start program, you don't modify your resume to apply to each position. No, that would be crazy. No. What's the possibility ratio of getting an internship as a finance MBA student in Chicago? I don't know that. How do I possibly know the possibility? Do I go to the University of Chicago? Am I in the career services? Now, one problem that I see a lot of you people have is you are looking for somebody to tell you, give you a guarantee. There's no guarantee in life. Everything is a probability with the hard work that you put in. So no, nobody's going to give you a possibility. Are you going to put in the hard work? There's hard work, there's opportunity, there's chance, there's preparation, everything together. So what are you doing to make sure that you get an internship going to University of Chicago? A lot of University of Chicago students have been successful. A lot of them also haven't been successful because they didn't put in the work. It has nothing to do with the name of their school. It's the work that they put in. So if anybody, most position, that is not true. That is actually not true. That is a big lie because most opportunities for MBAs actually start from internships, and it's the internships that get converted to full-time positions. So if anybody has told you that, that's not true. And that's because they're not looking at university recruiting positions. And that's because they don't have a proper strategy and they don't even understand the entire internship recruiting game. So if anybody told you that, they may talk about the person is not telling you the right thing, or maybe you were a little confused. So just book a call with us so we can put you in the right direction. Since the resume has to be one page, how many bullet points can be used under each work experience? We'll be teaching that in the Head Start program, Hema. So in the Head Start program, I will tell you that. I was told recruiting for banking and consulting at the same time is almost impossible. Yes, that's actually very true. Banking and consulting right? So I always advise people, banking and consulting is tough. So I will advise people to pick one of either banking and consulting and then recruit for all of the general roles, because consulting and general roles is actually really tough. So pick one of those tough areas and then you can now be general with every other thing. So yes, that's correct. Cover letter and a resume. Cover letter is a letter. A resume has your bullet points. A cover letter is you expressing interest and talking to a recruiter or a hiring manager about your interest. The Head Start program will happen within the year. No, we plan to have just one Head Start program for people that are not in our partner schools in March. And if anyone would happen at any point during the year, it's going to be pre-recorded. So our plan as at now is just one Head Start program. We're not going to have another one. Yes, I already answered that. So August, I hope you listened. Will you be talking about the job search strategy? Hema, yes, we'll be talking about. That's exactly what I said here. And one thing that I've seen is for most of you, you're asking me questions that I already spoke about. That talks about one thing. You are not fully listening and you're not concentrating. And for you to be successful in the MBA program, you must fully listen, concentrate, and take notes. Very, very important, right? Yes, you can ask different questions, but you must fully listen and concentrate. Kind. There is no, I mean, okay, I can be kinder, but that's not what you're going to get in the MBA program. Like, this space is rough. It's rough. So you have to be rough too. But yeah, we'll be talking about the job search strategy during the Head Start program. No Head Start program apart from March. That I can tell you for now. I don't know, things can change in April or in May, but just one general Head Start program in March. For other schools, for partner schools, they have their timeline. If you're a member of a partner school, you will get the details of your partner school. So do we have any other questions, or we can close this out? All right, thank you so much. You'll be getting access to the recording. We'll be getting access to the recording by tomorrow, I believe. And you'll also get access to all of the links. So thank you. It was nice speaking with you all. And I hope to connect with you all soon. Please don't take any of the messages very personally. It's a tough word out there, and I will be lying to you, and I would not be doing you any service by telling you it's going to be easy, because it's not. So it's rough, and you have to be much, much rough to be able to crack it. So you'll be okay, but you just have to put in the work, really.